Hi everyone, good afternoon. My name is Nora Fabi Sahagon. So for today's video, we have the topic of the expressive macro skills in writing. So the following are the learning outcomes. First is define writing, its nature, mechanics, and the style. The second is apply techniques in writing. Third is distinguish errors in writing. And the last is organize gathered data and thoughts. I will be discussing the three subtopics for the expressive macro skills in writing, which are the nature and the purpose of writing, the mechanics and the process of writing, and the concerns and strategies in pre-writing, drafting, revising, editing, proofreading, and the publishing. But first, let me discuss the nature and the purposes of writing. But before that, let's have the definition of the writing. So writing is a process of using symbols. These may include the letters of the alphabet, the punctuation, and the spaces to communicate thoughts and ideas in a readable form. So writing is about to create something by writing words on paper, on computer, or in any other writing materials. Writing skills fall under the expressive because when we write, it shows or it expresses the opinion of the writer. Also, it is essential to understand the basic system of a language. These include the knowledge of the grammar, the vocabulary, spelling, sentence structure, and the proper use of punctuation. The said knowledge help you to communicate your thoughts and ideas in a readable form. So we have the four major purposes of writing. So when we write, we are guided by our purpose. This help the writers to be aware of the audience for which they are writing. So there are different reasons to write. First on the list is the expressive writing. It is used to express our opinions. Its main purpose is to make connections to others and to contribute to human thought and culture and to establish and deepen human contacts. So, the expressive writing is an informal writing which is personal and emotional writing without regard to the punctuation, verb agreement, or other technical aspects of writing. So, writing has the purpose to express the thoughts and emotions of the writer. An example for this are diary or journal, letter, poetry, and any personal narrative. The second is the persuasive writing. It is a more serious form of writing on a debatable style. The writer's goal is to change the minds of the readers or at least to get the readers to question their position on a debate and considers the writer's point of view. Persuasive writing is another purpose that is also a formal writing. From the word itself, persuasive, it is to convince that the opinion or claim of the writer is correct or valid. The third on the list is the informative writing. It is used to educate or explain something to the audience. This type of writing is clear, accurate, organized thoroughly, and above all, fair. Informative writing has the goal to educate people through the works of the writing. When we have the purpose to inform, we make our text clear, accurate, organized, and this is also a formal type of purpose. So the last purpose is the literary work. It is a form of creative writing as in a fiction or non-fiction. It is a form of writing that is not a composition style of writing but with the purpose to entertain more than to inform. So we could use this purpose to give entertainment to the audience. Now we have the types of writing. The first is the narrative. This type of writing comprises of a sequence of events together with characters and setting. For example, autobiography and story. So the narrative writing tells a story in a sequence. It could be a fiction or non-fiction. The next is descriptive. This type of writing comprises a detailed account of physical attributes or qualities of a person, an object, or a place. This description evokes the reader's sense of sight, hearing, taste, and touch, which enable the reader to form a vivid picture of what's being described. So this type of writing can be found in fiction, poetry, journal, and advertising. The next type of writing is expository. This type of writing comprises of facts, information, and explanation of concepts, issues, or topics related to scientific or general knowledge. Expository pieces of writing are impartial, which means the writer does not include his or her interpretation or opinion. For example, an academic essay or magazine article. So expository is also included in writing because it is formed to explain and inform the audience. In addition, it is impartial because it supplies the readers with facts and figures about a certain topic without the author's opinion. You can find it in textbooks, technical writing, essays, and instruction. Persuasive is also a type of writing which refers to the writer's view or statements which intend to convince the readers to agree or accept the writer's point of view. Such writing also includes facts and information which promote or support the writer's stance. And the last type of writing is the argumentative. This type of writing takes the style of a debate in which the writer first takes a stance and presents supporting facts, points, or evidence. At the same time, the discussion time also includes objection or criticism of the opposing stance. So when you write an argumentative essay, you have to gather the facts and evidences to support your claim. It is also a remark or comment that expresses disapproval of someone or something. The next topic we have is the mechanics and the process of writing. First, let's discuss the process of writing. The writing process includes pre-writing, drafting, revising, editing, proofreading, and publishing. Writing is done in stages, and learning these stages reflects your own writing process. This also helps you to become an effective writing. So the first stage is the pre-writing, which literally means before writing, or is a warm-up stage where writers prepare to write. So before we actually begin, we formulate a topic in our mind before we write on paper or computer. The second process is drafting. It is when you actually put words on your paper. This is the process where you formally using symbols to write. In drafting, you need to concentrate to start your writing. The third process is the revising. It's taking time to reread your original drafts. In this process, you need to read again your text to improve your content. It is a way to improve your text better. And the next is the editing. It looks at the grammar and mechanics of a piece of writing. Editing is a process that needs a focus because it is the process where you correct your mistakes on your works. And the next is the proofreading. It is you are looking for a remaining errors such as misspellings, typos, formatting issues, remaining mechanical problems, and anything else that needs to be fixed before you publish. So the catching error at this level is the hardest process on writing because it is the last level where you correct the errors. And the last process is publishing. It is also known as the final draft. This piece of writing should be free of spelling and grammatical error. This process is the last step. It is where you expose your works to the audience. The next subtopic we have is the mechanics of writing. There are 5 mechanics of writing, which are the spelling, punctuation, names of person, abbreviation, and capitalization. These 5 mechanics of writings are the rules that govern written language. So for the spelling, it consists consistency, word divisions, plural, and foreign words. So consistency is adhering the rules throughout the writing process. For example, when you use an American type of writing at the beginning of your writing, you have to use it until the end. And the next is the word division. It is a process of dividing it. Use hyphen to divide a certain word. For example, important. When you use it in a sentence with a word division, it becomes like this. And why word division is important? That is the correct way of dividing a word. And why word division is important? It is the wrong way of using the word division. Then, plurals. Most nouns simply add s or es to become plural. For example, kid. Kid plus s equals kids. Next example is taxed. Taxed plus es equals taxes. Then the last is the foreign word. It is a word taken from another language. The next we have is the punctuation. Punctuation is the marks in a piece of writing that make its meaning clear and that separate it into sentence, clauses, and etc. So the punctuations are commas, semicolon, colon, parenthesis, hyphens, apostrophe, question mark, square brackets, slashes, periods, and exclamation point, spacing after concluding, and last is the quotation mark. Then the third mechanic of writing is the names of person. First and subsequent uses of names. For example, Pil Won is the first name and et al. Is the subsequent name. And the fourth is the abbreviation. It is the shortened form of a word. For example, RMC, which means Rizal Memorial College. And the last is the capitalization. The first letter in the sentence is capital. For example, the Filipino people are resilient. And the last subtopic we have is the concerns and strategies in pre-writing, drafting, revising, editing, proofreading, and publishing. Let's talk first the pre-writing concern. Inexperienced writers don't often give much thought to these pre-writing activities, but neglecting them can lead to a frustrating writing experience and more importantly, it can lead to a frustrating reading experience. Without a plan, it's hard to know where to start and where to go, and this lack of preparation usually shows up in the written work, damaging the writer's credibility. When the writer is inexperienced, he or she will have difficulties in writing. Also, when the writer is lax of preparation, even in the start of the writing process, the written work will be affected. So here are the 6 strategies to start writing. First is use experience and observation. When writing a topic, you may also want to consider something that interests you or something that is based on your life and personal experiences. Next is the free writing. It is an exercise in which you write freely about any topic. And third is the asking questions. Asking question is part of strategies in writing because it gets more information. And the fourth is the brainstorming. It is the similar to a list making wherein you make a list of more specific ideas. And the fifth is the idea mapping. It allows you to visualize your ideas on paper. This strategy is also known as clustering because ideas are broken down and clustered together. And the last strategy in pre-writing is the searching internet. Using search engines on the internet are good ways to see what kinds of websites are available on your topic. In the drafting stage, you begin writing your piece. You can start from anywhere, beginning, middle, or end, depending on the project and your preferences. So, the following are the strategies in drafting. First is to start with small ideas. Next, examine the idea. Third, give your language editor a day off. Next, have your notes and quotes handy. Fifth, leave blank spaces for ideas you want to add later. The sixth is have access to a thesaurus, and this next is minimize distraction. And the last strategy is takes breaks to refresh. Next is revising. Revisions indispensable to make the outlook of the writing catchy and cogent. In this stage, you are looking for big picture changes that can improve your piece. You're not looking at spelling or punctuation of word order. You are looking at the relevance and depth and arrangement of ideas. So the following are the strategies in revising. Practice past exam papers. Next is start revising early. Third is make effective notes. And the fourth is create a revision timetable. And the last is sleep. And the editing. This stage typically comes after the revision stage because you would be wasting time editing sentences that might be deleted during the revision stage. This stage typically comes after the revision stage because you would be wasting time editing sentences that might be deleted during the revision stage. Digging into specific details and examples of editing can be a time-consuming study, but it serves writers well. So there are three strategies in editing. First is good editing takes time. Next, try reading your paper in reverse. And the last is use grammar and spell checker. Next is the proofreading. It is your final pass through your work. Here, you are looking for remaining errors such as misspellings, typos, formatting issues, remaining mechanical problems, and anything else that needs to be fixed before you publish. Catching errors at this level of detail isn't easy to do with tired eyes, so be sure to once again give yourself enough rest before editing. So here are the strategies in proofreading. First is set your text aside for a while between writing and proofreading. Next, work from printout, not from computer screen. And the third is use a blank sheet of paper or ruler to cover up the lines below the one you are reading. And the fourth is read very slowly. It is important to proofread your written works. There could be errors in your spelling, subject-verb agreement or the SVA, parallel structure, compound sentence commas, introductory commas, fragments, run-on sentences, plural and possessiveness. And the last process that we will be tackling is about publishing. Many writers face at least some fear before sharing their work. For students, this fear can lead to procrastination. For bloggers, it can lead to a backlog of unpublished posts. But you can be a writer until you are willing to give it away. So here are the strategies in publishing. First is optimize your title and abstract. Next, use the correct institutional affiliation. Third, decide where to publish. And fourth is engage with stakeholders. And the last is collaborate. So that is all for my report. Thank you for listening. God bless.